I'm going to be doing a little bit of two things here. I'm going to be talking about recommendations, how to average 10 plus recommendations every time. And then I'm also going to talk about selling Cutco kitchens. So who here would be excited about 10 recommendations on average? And who would be excited about selling some Cutco kitchens? Awesome. And I know a lot of people on this call are relatively new, right, John? A lot of people are relatively new on the call. But I think it's never too early to learn how to sell a Cutco kitchen. And just knowing that this is like what I do on appointments and what top CSPs around the country do, like Matt Graves, who's part of your office, like this is what he does, showing the Cutco kitchen. So at some point you'll be able to get there and having the confidence and swagger to show this stuff. So I'm going to share my screen here, and feel free to take screenshots if you want. Just so that way it's easy, or just write down many notes as possible. John, how much time do I have just to respect your guys' time?
You're good. You're the main event.
Okay, cool. All right. So I like to talk, so I'll try to keep it as brief as possible in my terms. But so little basic notes here, but so 10 recs every time. A little bit about myself. I'm over $1.3 million in personal Cutco career sales. Won all those scholarships, paid for school, all that good stuff. But I wasn't always like the best sales rep. My average order was $189. So believe that or not, John and Brent, my average order was $189. I was not very good at selling Cutco. But one thing that I grew that, just so you guys know, through surrounding myself with top reps in the office, watching videos on Vector Connect, always asking questions, always trying to be a student of the business and getting better. My average order went from $189 to $350 to $600 to $1,000 on demos. And I would sell on average $1,000 when I was doing demos and service calls, right, throughout college. And but the one thing that I was really always awesome at was recommendations. I could get 5, 10, 15, 20. There were multiple times that I got 100 plus recommendations. Like, it wasn't weird for me to get 100 plus recommendations. And I want to share these five tips with you guys, because the reality of the job is there's 3 key areas of selling Cutco. So when you first start selling Cutco, and you're doing demos, right, and like some service calls and stuff, there's 3 key areas that you have to master. And or 4 key areas. There's mentality. So working on your mentality. So John, I love that you guys are waking up early, doing the one thing you do. So like working on the mentality side of the business. Then there's also the phoning. So getting good at phoning. So you guys just did a little phone jam there. So getting good at phoning is the other key area. So that's key area number 2. Key area number 3 is sales. So the actual sales component of it, whether you're doing a demo or a service call or selling at an event, or realtor and business gifting, which is way too early for you guys on this call. But and then the fourth is recommendations. So getting recommendations. And when I was brand new, when I was young in the business, like $0, like when I was in training, I realized like really quick, like I need to get as many recommendations as possible so I never run out of people to see, and I'm always duplicating the amount of people I can see. And I share my average order with you guys in the beginning to let you know that I was not very good at the sales component of the key area of the business. But what I was really good at was keeping a good attitude, staying positive when hard times hit. Phoning, I was really good at phoning because I followed my script and I listened to my manager. And then I was always really good at recommendations. So I was never going to run out of people to see. And, you may be like, Rob, that's great for you, but how do we do that for us? So here's the 5 things that I teach to reps across the country. I have a coaching program where I coach reps from across the country. And these are the 5 proven things that I've taught people to do that are replicatable throughout the entire nation, no matter where you live, whether it's someone in Hawaii I'm coaching, or someone in Puerto Rico or New York City or Minneapolis or Austin, Texas. The 5 things you need to do to get 10 recs on average is 1, memorize your approach. Memorizing your approach, having that confidence and swagger, going right into it. 2 is the number one reason why, one of the main reasons why I see people not getting a lot of recommendations is because they are surprising their customer at the end with oh yeah, this recommendation thing, I need help. And then they're like, oh, let me think about it. So what I created is something called the 3 promises. So Winnie, on like one of your presentations, or Francisco on one of your presentations, your next presentations, this is a really simple thing to say at the beginning of your appointment. It's called the 3 promises. And it's basically just laying out what to expect for your presentation. So every demo I did, I was like, hey, John, I'm just going to make 3 promises to start this off, just so you know what to expect. I promise I'm going to ask if you want to buy Cutco. It's a great product. I promise I'm going to ask for an order. I also promise I'm going to ask you for 1 million referrals. And my 3rd promise is that I just want to have a lot of fun on this presentation and be the highlight of your day. And bringing that up early on the presentation sets the tone for the entire presentation, and it's not weird when you're asking for it at the end. So that way they start thinking of people throughout the demo, right? Social proof, the 3rd thing is social proof. If they see that people are giving you referrals, they're going to give you referrals. So I actually have my rec notebooks. So these are like all my rec notebooks when I was like doing demos in college. This is like literally $400,000 worth of CPO, a $250,000 worth of CPO from these Rex notebooks. And, you know, like imagine, and, you know, I don't know if you guys are doing in-person demos or virtual, but it's not that big of a deal. Like this is the in-person demo. So when I would do an in-person demo and I'd be like, hey, John, like, I need you to refer me to 1 million people. I'm just kidding. Most people refer me to 10 or 20. The reason why you get to 10 is because you become a sponsor. And once you become a sponsor, you know, I get 50. If I get 50 sponsors, my manager gives me free Cutco that I can use on my demo, yada, yada, yada. Let me get you a clean spot. And I'm literally leafing through this. And John, if he's the customer, he's literally like, oh my gosh, like this person just gets recommendations. It's not weird for me to give this person recommendations. Now, this is the, you know, 10 years ago when I was in college style, or when you're just doing demos or service calls in person. If you're doing virtual appointments, it's really easy. You just put all of your recommendations on an Excel document or Google Excel document. So, and then just share your screen. So the 4th is quality rapport. So getting to know people on your demo, asking where they're from. So one, like if I was going to do a presentation with Francisco and I'm doing a presentation with you, I would be like, hey, Francisco, like, I'm just curious. Like, you know, I know that I'm friends with your son from playing soccer. Like, we're making up a scenario here, but, you know, I'm friends with your son playing soccer, but I'm curious. I never asked you, where are you from? Are you from San Diego originally? Or, and you'll be like, no, I'm actually from, you know, whatever, San Francisco or something. And then like, that is really, that helps me out when I'm doing my demos, because now I know that you're not from the area, but you're from San Francisco. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, how long did you grow up there for? And they're like, oh, we grew up there like my whole life. And then I came down to San Diego after college, you know, whatever, met my wife, like things like that. Like, I'm making up a scenario here. But the point is like, now I know this information about Francisco that I'm going to bring up when I ask for recommendations. So I'm going to bring it up as you're giving me people. I'll be like, hey, Francisco, I remember you said you're not from here. You're actually from San Francisco. I could do these virtual appointments. Who do you know that's really nice up at San Francisco? I don't really know too many people up there. And you're going to be like, oh man, like my aunt's up there. Yeah, my parents are still up living there, you know, whatever. Like my best friend, he lives there. Yeah, let me give you some San Francisco people, right? So, and then if you're from San Diego, this is one of my favorite Jedi mind tricks, John, right here. So Jedi mind trick is if I'm doing a demo for Francisco and I'm just like, hey, are you, I never asked you this, Francisco, are you from San Diego? And you're like, yeah, born and raised. Yeah, lived here my whole life. Yeah, never left San Francisco. I just throw out, oh, you must be the unofficial mayor of San Diego. Sorry, I think I said San Francisco, but you must be the unofficial mayor of San Diego. And what the unofficial mayor is somebody that knows everybody in town, right? Because they grew up there, they lived there their whole life, they like know a ton of people. And then what happens when you say that to people that have lived in the same area for a long time is they will go, yeah, I know a lot of people in the area. And then it's kind of like the Jedi mind trick, because at the end, I'm like, hey, I remember you said you know everybody in the area. Who do you know that's really nice, right? So like they already kind of showed their cards to me that they know a lot of people. And then does that make sense? Raise your hand if that makes sense. Is that good? So like the unofficial mayor thing. So, and then the last is incentivize, giving free Cutco, give free Cutco, give free Cutco, give free Cutco, give free Cutco. You know, all these recommendations you see here, anyone that gave me 10, I was not shy about giving them a cutting board with their order, or a veggie peeler, or a pizza cutter, or if they didn't buy anything, giving them something for free, right? Like one of my reps, he's actually from Virginia, but he has a customer in Irvine, California, and he just finished up his fast start, and he had a couple of fast start prizes, and he wanted to get a lot of recommendations from this person that lives in California. So he actually just shipped them. It was a no sale. He got 50 recommendations from this person because he said, if you get to 50, I'll give you my hearty slicer that I won in my fast start, and literally shipped it to him. And he got 50 recommendations. So giving free Cutco, okay? So that's a huge tip right there. And then before I get into selling Cutco kitchens, I would love for you guys to come off mute and just hear some takeaways from some people on this call from those little 5 tips.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, what's up? Who's that?
Hold on, just use mine.
We use yours?
Yeah.
I know it is.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, he should be able to hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, good. I just want to say I love that line, the unofficial mayor. Man, I never heard that before, but it's so money. That is just such a money line right there. Hey, you must be the unofficial mayor of blank. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome. It works. What else? Who else has got to take away from that?
I like when you were asking like for people who they know like in the area, you said who do you know instead of like maybe asking like do you know anyone from the areas, like who do you know, really emphasize the who, and it's just like it makes sure that they have to respond to you basically. So love that idea. Yeah,
it's human beings by nature, like even myself, are so programmed to say no when you're given like a yes no question with like do you know anyone, like the easy route is no I don't, and that ends it, right? But it's like, who do you know that's really funny, and like who do you know that's like is like loves to cook, right? They have to kind of answer that question. One more and then I'll teach you guys how to sell $15,000 worth of Cutco.
I like how you said if they give you like 10 plus recs, you give them free Cutco. I don't really get much sales, but like with the recs, I'm gonna use that idea as I never thought to like send them the product because like, yeah, they didn't buy anything during the demo, but now they get to try the free product that we sent them, and then they'll probably like come back to us. So I like that. Yeah, absolutely. I think like for instance, if you have a no sale and like you don't know how to get product, like talk to your manager, talk to whoever your manager is, and they'll help you out with getting some product of some sort to get to that person, right? So I know on the East Coast we have something called a veggie peeler program where it's like you can buy a couple of veggie peelers from your managers for a couple of dollars, and you could send it to your customers. So yeah, definitely want to do that. And then all right, so selling Cutco kitchens. Who's excited? Make some noise. Come off mute, make some noise. Give me a woo. Woo! All right, awesome. So this is, again, I know that a lot of people are new on this call, so I'll try to keep it super simple. But what I'm going to teach you is really just like really basic fundamental sales principles, just sales principles, tied it in with Cutco. So it's really not over the top, like crazy, like, oh my God, like I can't handle this stuff. Like some of you guys on this call are in college and studying like astrophysics or something like this. You guys can handle this stuff. Like it's very simple. So I don't want you to feel overcomplicated with it. And I want you to write this down: 90 seconds to make $6,000, 90 seconds to make $6,000. And I run a coaching program. So I took some screenshots of my All-American Academy group chat. And you'll see like in these screenshots, I teach my reps this all the time. We hone this skill, we hone this skill, we hone this skill, we hone this skill. And you'll see like in the text message to the left, Brian O'Neill, Siggy upgrade. So somebody upgraded to a signature set. And he's following up in December for a homemaker and a cookware bundle. So like 2 or 3K order for a son's wedding, right?
In the middle text, you'll see sold like 2,500 at a show today at 5.5K for the week, right? Zane Baumravath, who's in your region, he's in Seattle area, just sold a accomplished cookware set and complete set upgrade on a virtual. So he made $1,400 before he even left his room. So, you know, what I'm about to teach you is how they're doing this. In the right text message, you'll see Zane Baumravath just sold another Cutco kitchen. He literally sold 2 Cutco kitchens in one day. Raise your hand if you want to learn how to sell a Cutco kitchen, right? You know, it's like, this stuff's awesome. So what I'm teaching works, and it's really simple. It's not super complicated, right? A couple more in here. Esmae, one of my favorite people I coach, he's from Florida. He just dropped a half a Cutco kitchen with an ultimate upgrade, accomplished cookware set, accessories, 4K CPO, yada, 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 yada. The list goes on and on and on. Actually, one of my favorite actually is Nariel. Nariel is he's 18 years old. He's from Long Island, and he has done a business gift for $15,000. So he's 18 years old. Literally in 1 hour, he made $7,500. I'll let that sink in. So, you know, and I'm not saying this to scare you, but to impress, or not impress you, but press upon, you guys are in like a really golden opportunity to sell such an amazing product that people love, and just don't quit. Like, don't quit this job. Just figure it out. Figure it out. Talk to your manager. How do you get better at recommendations? How do you get better at phoning? How do you get better at selling? Like, do not quit. Just keep going. Keep getting better. Keep getting better. So what we're going to go over here is 4 parts. What is sales? We're going to talk about what is sales. The second thing is we're going to talk about problem solving. What problem is Cutco solving? That's number 2. So the number 2 thing we're going to figure out is, what problem are we solving? Again, is this complicated? Yes, or not complicated? No, it's not complicated, right? We're not going over brain surgery here, right? The next is framing the Cutco kitchen. And then last but not least, it's not if, it's when, and will you be their Cutco rep? So if you quit, you'll never be their Cutco rep. That's the reality of the situation. So what is sales? So I want a couple of brave individuals, to come off mute and tell me, what do you think sales is? What do you think sales is? A couple of brave individuals, tell me what sales is.
Wow.
What?
Sales is the transfer of belief.
Okay, transfer belief. No, not technically. No, not the answer I'm looking for. But Austin, that's the answer that everybody gives. So transfer of energy, transfer of belief, transfer of enthusiasm. That's what a lot of people think sales is. It is. You have to be excited about the product. You can't be, it's part of it. You can't be like very not excited about what you're selling, right? Because people buy that energy and enthusiasm, right? So what is sales? Anyone else want to come off mute? Austin, thanks for being brave there. Appreciate that.
Believing in the product, let the product sell itself.
Okay, so believing in the product and let the product sell itself. Yeah, like you guys aren't wrong, but it's not the answer. It's not what it is. John, you want to come off? You want to guess this one? No, throw you on the spot. You're like, no, I've seen what happened before.
You're like making a connection with the.
That's part of it. Like, you definitely have to make a connection. That's why building rapport in the beginning of your appointment is so critical to how the appointment's going to go, right? All right, you guys ready? And this isn't just Cutco. This is like car sales. This is like if you're a realtor and you're selling, a house. This is if you're an insurance agent and you're selling insurance. This is sales in general. Sales, if you really boil sales down, is this. It is establishing a problem, helping that customer recognize pain, and then a simple solution. It is problem solving. It's problem solving. And the reason why I say that is because sales, everything in life is sales, right? So like, for instance, connection, right? Someone said connection. I didn't know who it was, but You guys may not think like this, but a plumber, they sell piping, they sell toilets, they sell sinks, they sell all that stuff, right? That's sales. Like that is sales, right? And I had a pipe burst in my house, and the plumber that came over, we did not connect. I did not like him. He was kind of a jerk. He was kind of arrogant. But guess what? I had a problem and he was solving it. And I gave him $3,000. So my point is, like, if you connect with people, that's a plus. That's amazing. That's part of it, right? But it's establishing a problem, helping that customer recognize the pain with that problem, and then a simple solution with Cutco. Are we all there? Thumbs up? It's problem solving. So then we move into, what are the problems that Cutco is solving? So, and I know everybody's on the newer side here, so I'll just kind of give these answers right here. So, like, what we have to know what problem we're solving to be really great salespeople. Does that make sense? Like, Marielle, I see you shaking, nodding your head. You're just like, yep, that makes sense. I don't know if it's to me or not, but you're not shaking. So, we have to know what problem we're solving and work backwards, right? So does anybody want to take a stab at this? Any brave individual want to take a stab at this, of what problems Cutco solves?
We're solving the problems of the normal household trash knives and having to replace them like every month because they always break or chip, melt in the dishwasher.
Boom, Francisco, you got like one of them, replacing broken knives. Who wants to go? That was good. That was good. This is going a lot better than the other one. So no, I'm just kidding. So broken knives. Okay, cool. What's another problem that Cutco solved? Come on.
The dullness of those cheap knives.
Yeah, the dullness of the knives. Yep. Cool. So those are like the two obvious ones. There's a couple of other ones that are really important that I'm going to share with you. So we'll go to the next slide. Oh, Austin, were you raising your hand? I don't know if you were raising your hand or not. So, so what problems are we solving? So what we're solving is dull knives and gadgets. So like dull knives and gadgets, broken knives, broken flatware, broken pots and pans, dishwasher safe, like easy to clean. Like some stuff that companies make is very difficult to clean. Like some knives are carbon steel. You can't put them in the dishwasher. Or they'll just like rust and like get all gross like that. Some cast iron skillets are very hard to clean. So made in America. So things that aren't made in America, they're made overseas. Like that's a problem. Some people just don't like that, right? And then here's something that you guys probably have never heard of in your entire life, but it's the word called hodgepodge. I'd be impressed if somebody actually heard this word before. But a hodgepodge basically means random, like a random assortment, right? And hodgepodge of random knives. So one of the biggest sellers for a lot of reps that I work that sell a lot of flatware and cookware and knives is mastering the hodgepodge line. Okay, so the hodgepodge, that's a pain point for customers. See, I don't really care. Like, I don't care about the hodgepodge so much. Like my wife though is so like everything needs to match. Everything needs to like look nice. And like, me, I'm just like really simple down to earth. I could just give me a fork and spoon and I'm fine. But my wife loves everything matching, right? So if a sales rep came to my house, I would be like, hey, here's what you got to talk about. Hodgepodge, random stuff, like things that don't match. I bet you my wife buys a lot of it. So like whatever that sales rep would sell, right? So a hodgepodge of random stuff. Cool. So moving on. So now that we have the problems, we have to say it in a way to help Mrs. Jones realize that they have the problems. Because sales, going back to what is sales, sales is establishing a problem, helping your customer feel that pain, and then providing a simple solution. Everybody with me? Thumbs up on that. Cool. So here's what you got to do. You got to insert this line in the beginning of your presentations. And John and your managers, you guys can help. Again, this is not rocket science. This is not rocket science. This is not mathematics. This is not writing a 20-page essay paper like some of you guys do in college. This is very simple stuff. This is inserting a line. And this line is going to help you establish that problem so you know what to go back to the entire time throughout the presentation. So if I was doing a presentation with John, I would say, hey, so Mr. Baker, not sure if this relates to you or not, but the reason a lot of people buy Cutco is because a lot of my customers are just like super annoyed with these problems with their current knives. First, they get really annoyed when they buy knives. They're really sharp when they're super sharp, but then they go dull and they don't know where or how to get them sharpened. Another problem people are getting really annoyed with knives are them breaking and just having to buy new ones. And then it just looks like a hodgepodge of like random different knives and nothing matches. Do any of these problems sort of kind of relate to you? And then, John's going to say, here's what's going to happen. 80 to 90% of people will latch onto one of these problems. And they'll be like, yes, that's the problem, right? And what you're doing is becoming a great sales rep is about asking questions and listening to their answers and then reminding them of what they said. So for instance, let's say John, I'm just going to make this up just to make sure we go not fast through this, but speed through this. John, let's just say your response was, yeah, I get really annoyed. Like I have to buy knives every couple of years because they go dull and I don't really know how to get them sharpened. Cool. Awesome. I'm going to show you how Cutco solves that. But can you tell me more about that? What do you mean by like they go dull? So can you tell me more about that? Write that down. Can you tell me more about that? Whatever their problems are. And then what John's going to do is John's going to start to relive a moment where he just goes, yeah, like we had Thanksgiving a couple months ago and I couldn't cut the turkey. Or like, oh yeah, like I always squish a tomato, like it's really bad, right? Tell me more about that is such a money line in sales because it's kind of like that, who do you know? And then you let them talk and you kind of, they're like forced to kind of give you somebody that they know, right? They're like, who do you know? It gives them the space to talk. So it's like, tell me more about that. Like, can you explain that a little bit more? I'm just curious, right? I'm just curious. What do you mean by that? Write that down. I'm just curious. What do you mean by that? Right? So what do you mean by the dull knives? Okay. And then what I'm going to do is bring that up on the presentation. So let's say John gets annoyed with dull knives. There's an expression where it's like you're pouring salt on the wound. Like you're just kind of like poking the bear. You're just like bringing up the same thing over and over and over and over again with somebody. And that's what you want to do is you want to, so like if I'm doing the presentation and we're going through the homemaker pieces or we're going through the homemaker, and John said this in the beginning, I'm going to bring it up during the homemaker. And I'm just going to be like, hey, John, remember that time remember a couple minutes ago, you said you were really annoyed by the dull knives? Yeah. So like, I know I went over the guarantee before about the free sharpening and free replacement, but I just want to remind you that like all of this stuff is guaranteed forever. This homemaker set is guaranteed forever. So the free sharpening, so you'll never have to worry about those dull knives and that trouble of cutting through a tomato ever again. And John's going to feel that pain. And he's going to be like, oh yeah, that's right. I did bring up the dull knife thing. Yep, exactly. Okay, cool. This is guaranteed forever. So free sharpening. Cool. Is everybody with me on this? Does that make sense? I don't want to lose anybody. Is this like super complicated? Like, oh my God, I'm never going to know how to do this. No, it's like, it's very simple. And the more that you ask this question, the better your sales presentations become. The better, I'm telling you right now, I coach reps from across the country. It doesn't matter where they're from, what they're at in career sales. Once they start understanding problem solution selling, they skyrocket. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. So study this question, take a screenshot of it, screenshot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to move over from a slide. Cool. All right. For some reason, it keeps wanting to go backwards. All right. So in order to sell Cutco kitchens, we have to do a couple of things. Know the problem that we're solving for. So we have to know the problem that we're solving for. And then we have to create a safe space to share that problem because others are. So in that question that I asked, I didn't put John on the spot and I was like, tell me what your problems are. Like, cause like, John's gonna be like, I'm fine. Like, nah, we're good. Like, but what I did was I said, hey, John, I don't know if this relates to you or not, but the reason why other people buy Cutco is because other people are really annoyed by these problems. They're really annoyed by this problem. They're really annoyed by this problem. They're really annoyed by this problem. And there's a lot of psychology to that question. Like Brad, you were the one that liked the who do you know? There's a lot of psychology to that, because now I'm giving third-party examples. I'm not telling him specifically who's saying that, but I'm saying a lot of people are saying that. And that gives John a safe space to complain, where he's like, oh, I'm not the only one that thinks that. Oh, okay. Yeah, the dull knife thing. Yeah, it really annoys me, right? And so there's a lot of psychology there, right? So, and what I also would say is personalize it if you can. So like if I did a demo for Evan, like if I did a demo for Evan Keller and I was just like, hey, John, Evan, obviously be truthful with it. Like if Evan did complain about the dull knives thing, I'd be like, hey, John, I'm not sure if this relates to you or not, but a lot of people are buying Cutco because they're really annoyed by these problems. In fact, Evan was actually saying the same thing about this. He was saying the dull knife thing really annoys him. Another problem people get annoyed by is this. And like, if you personalize it, then they're like, oh wait, Evan said that. Oh yeah, I don't like that too. Yeah, that's really annoying, the dull knife situation. So next is keep reminding them of the problem, and then offer, step number 4 is offer a solution, which is the Cutco kitchen with certainty. And I know that you guys are relatively new. I keep saying that, but I wish somebody told me, knowing what I know now and how simple this could be, I wish somebody did this presentation when I was at $0 in sales, because it would have changed my thinking and my thought process, right? So, but that's why I'm here. So, so framing the solution, the Cutco kitchen. Now, this is the 90 seconds to make $6,000. So 90 seconds to make $6,000. You guys ready? I timed myself. This took me 90 seconds to say. So this is my demo that I do. And the demo that I teach people to do is showing everything we make. I just teach the philosophy of showing everything we make and let the customer decide what they want, right? So again, this might be a little advanced for you guys, but I just put everything that we make, and then I put a $15,000 value and a $12,000 package, okay? And then on the next slide, and if I'm doing an in-person one, it's the same thing. It's just a piece of paper, right? And I'm going through this. This is important for you guys to know what the customer is looking at while I'm talking, while I'm about to give that 90-second verbiage, which is on the next slide. So this is what my customer is visualizing, okay? I'm gonna go through the next 90 seconds, and then we're gonna do some takeaways, so that way I wanna hear what you guys are taking away from this, all right? So this is something that I created. I'm not married to it, but I'm 99% sure that it works. You can make it your own, put your own personality into it. But again, I'm gonna be doing a demo for John. Okay, so Mrs. Jones, or sorry, John, this is called your Cutco kitchen. Okay, I wouldn't be doing my job as a sales rep if I didn't let you see our entire catalog. A lot of people know us for our knives. However, we have a wide selection of incredible products, such as our Forever Flatware, Forever Pots and Pans, Gadget Accessory Package, Outdoor Hunting Package, gift programs for family or business owners. Some people who are renovating their kitchen or are just tired of basic or tired of bad kitchen products do this package all at once, and they save the most amount of money. However, most people start with our knives, and once they check off that piece to their Cutco kitchen puzzle, they move on to our other packages. Obviously, you can see that the price of the entire Cutco kitchen is like 15 grand. The package discount is around 12,000. So it's important to know that we have no interest payment plans. And a lot of my customers love it when I show them this in the beginning of my demo, John, because when they see that Cutco isn't cheap, and I'm sure that you'd agree from experience, John, that good things aren't cheap and cheap things aren't good. So I'm going to start by showing you the knife packages. Hold on, my bar's right here. So this Zoom bar is always in the way. But I'm curious, is there any other package that kind of sort of piques your interest? And John might just be like, oh, you know what? Like, we were actually looking for some flatware, or we were looking for some pots and pans, or, oh, gifting. I own a business. Can you tell me more about that gifting? And then, okay, great. I'm going to write that down, John. Let's get into the knives right now, because that's where most people start. So do you see how like I paint the big picture of everything that we have. And then it's a little sticker shock with the 15,000, right? And I do that specifically for a reason. There's a method to my madness. Because if somebody knows that we make $15,000 worth of product and they buy an Ultimate, if they didn't know that we made all this other products, they might be done with Cutco. They're like, yeah, I'm done with Cutco. You guys don't make anything else, right? But now they know that we make a lot of stuff, right? And then the other reason is if they know that the whole catalog's 15 grand and they only buy $400, that's literally less than 3% of the catalog, I think. It's literally less than like, is that 3 or might be, what is that? Yeah, 3%. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because 10% would be 1,500. So yeah, it's like 3% of the catalog. And that's all going to tie into my next point about it's not if someone's going to buy Cutco, it's when they'll buy Cutco, and will you be their Cutco rep or will you quit? And we'll get into that. All right. So good things aren't cheap. So anyway, so let's do some takeaways on this. Take a screenshot of this. Again, if you're confused, if you don't know where to put it in, consult your manager. If your manager doesn't know, they can text me. I'll help you out there. It's quick takeaways. I want 3 takeaways from this. What do you guys like about it? What do you don't like about it? What do you hate about it? I'm just kidding. But what do you guys like about this? Does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I like the idea of painting like the big picture, like showing them like all the different products that we do have, like even the third-party products, and just showing all of that so they know like all the different like parts of the kitchen or garden that we take care of.
Mm-hmm. I was coaching a funny story, Brad. I was coaching a newer rep. He was at like 15 grand. And I just taught him the philosophy of showing everything. Like, he wasn't at $1 million in sales. He never sold pots and pans. He never sold this. He never sold that. But if you don't show something, you can never sell it. So that's my opinion. If you don't start showing everything, you can't sell it. And it was so comical to me. His name's Bryson LaBerge. He's a CSP that's going to do 300,000 every year, pretty much 400,000 every year. But I started working with him when he was at 15K in sales. And I taught him this philosophy. And what was so funny, Brad, is he would literally send me screenshots of the order that he was putting in on Vector Connect. And this kid literally had the most bizarre orders I've ever seen in my entire life. Like bizarre, like 2 butcher knives, like a pack of table knives, a garden trowel, a pizza cutter, like a fry pan. I was just like, what happened here? Like, did you just like throw darts at a dartboard to figure out like what this person wants? Like, this order doesn't make any sense, but it added up to $1,500. Like there was more stuff in there, but it added up to $1,500. And it's going to tie into my next point about selling Cutco kitchens. So cool. Love that, Brad. What else? Who else wants to share something on here?
So something that I took off of that, Rob, was that we're literally putting the customers on the spot by asking them if there's any other package that, or like any other items that they saw interest in. And it gauges their attention, and also it puts them on the spot where they have to answer you, and they have to be like, okay, I have to think about this. What do I actually like? Is there anything that I actually really want to, consider buying?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, is there anything? And it's called a probing question. So that in sales, there's types of questions that you can ask, yes, no questions, open-ended questions, who do you know? But it's something called a probing question, where you're asking like a very direct question to kind of get an understanding of the person that you're working with. So, and by the way, some people will say, no, there's nothing, right? Okay. And be prepared for that. I want to share and say, that's okay. That's fine, right? The way that I word this out is I'm still in control. I'm still in control. Like, I'm like, hey, John, here's all the stuff that we make. Is there anything else that I'm going to start with the knife? Like I already told him I'm going to start with the knives because that's how everybody starts. Most like 99% of people start with the knives. So I'm going to start with the knives, but is there anything else? And then if John's like, no, there's nothing else. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'm still in control. I'm going to start with the knives. Like I said, cool. Because that's where most people start. Right. But you're going to run into people, Winnie, that are like, yeah, oh my God, I didn't even know you guys made flatware. Oh, what? You guys make hunting stuff? Like, do you know how much hunting stuff I've sold to people that own ultimates? Tons. If somebody has our kitchen knives and they're also like a hunter or a fisherman and they know we make that stuff, they're like, yeah, sold, I'm done. Yeah, like, let me get those. Like, I had a guy he bought 5 fisherman solutions from me. He only has 1 boat. He's just like, yeah, I just want all them. Like, yeah, I just want 5 fisherman solutions. Because he had a homemaker set and he's like, your products are phenomenal. Right. So a lot of psychology here. I call it in the big letters, start big by showing everything, go small. So go to the knives. So you guys that are in training and just got out of training, you know, this might be a little bit advanced for you, but like go to the knives and then end big with just this question. So, you know, we broke this down right here. What this also does is this helps with planting the seed for more orders. So this was just a repeat of the problems, right? And you can talk to your manager about the problems for pots and pans and flatware. We won't get into it right now, but it's not if, it's when, and will you be their Cutco rep, right? So what you can also write down is the fortune is in the follow-up. Write that down. Fortune is in the follow-up. And this is a core pillar that I teach reps, that I coach all the time. What are we going to follow up with next for that customer? What are we going to follow up with next for that customer? All right. So there's a couple of options. When you're selling to somebody, you can either bundle things together. So Winnie, I'll use you as an example. Like, let's say I did the presentation and like I did that little pitch in the beginning, and I'm going to show you the knives, but you also said you were interested in flatware. Well, at the end of the demo, once I get your credit card, I'm going to be like, hey, like, it's great that we're doing the homemaker set here, but I know you're interested in that flatware. Would you want to bundle things together just to get a better deal? So I'll try to do that at the end because I already have your credit card. We're already locked in for the homemaker, and then I'll try and do it at the end. And then that'll add another 1,200 CPO onto my order. And that's when you saw Esmae selling the Cutco kitchen for 5K CPO. That's what he did, is he upgraded that person to an ultimate. They had a couple of pieces. They ended up getting all the other pieces for the ultimate in the block. And then they were interested in pots and pans. So he just asked them, do you want to get it now? And I can get you a better deal, right? And for those of you that are new, rely on your manager, talk to your manager, call your manager for PDI all the time. Just be like, call him. John's not going to get mad. I promise you, John will not get mad if, Austin, you're like, yeah, I'm doing a demo and this person wants an ultimate, and then they also want the flatware and the cookware. What kind of deal could we give them? Like, John will be crunching the numbers with like a calculator. All right, we got to give him a great deal, right? So, and then option number 2, which is totally fine, is fortunes in the follow-up, and it's later on, right? So the key is, go here. Here's the verbiage, right? So, okay, so this is for like if you want to bundle things together, right? Again, this is a little complicated, so we're going to skip this one a little bit. We'll skip that one. But what I want you to do is memorize this. And I wish somebody told me this when I first started selling Cutco, because I sold almost 500 grand in 2.5 years while I was in college. And if someone told me this then, I probably would have sold $1 million, because I would have been following up with my past customers. I'm telling you right now, Cutco's addicting. You can even say this to your customers, you know, after you tried to bundle and all that stuff. No worries, Mrs. Jones. You're going to love you're going to love the ultimate set. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job or serving you at the highest level if I didn't ask, when do you want me to circle back on the flatware or the pots and pans or the accessory gadgets, whatever they expressed interest in, right? Okay. When do you want me to follow up? Okay. On that stuff. And if you don't know what they want you to follow up on, just say, what do you want me to follow up on? And when do you want me to follow up on that? So for instance, I had a customer of mine, they just got a second home. They have the ultimate set for their house. They got a second home. They bought a homemaker set for their second home. And I didn't know. John, I literally was talking to her on the phone, Gina. I was like, hey, Gina, like I had no idea. I was throwing spaghetti at a wall, Addison. Didn't know what was going to stick. I was like, I'm just going to throw something at the wall, see what sticks. And I go, hey, Gino, like, I'm not sure if you remember, but when I came over and did the presentation, and we're doing this all over the phone now where you're buying the homemaker, you're going to love it. But we also make flatware, pots and pans, gadgets, accessories, all this other stuff. What do you want me to follow up with next for your second home? And it was just like silence. And she goes, oh, yeah, the flatware. I think I saw that in one of your emails. Yeah, follow up with the flatware. And I was like, okay, cool. When do you want me to follow up with that? And this was in November that she bought the homemaker set. And I thought she was going to be like, yeah, wait until May or something like that. She goes, oh, just give me a call in January. I'll buy the flatware chest. And we went over pricing and all that stuff. And like, boom, I have 1,500 in CPO that all I have to do is pick up the phone and call Gina. Right. And same thing with all my other customers. Every single person I talk to, it's always, hey, what do you want me to follow up with next? When do you want me to follow up with you? Get organized, get your wish list, Excel sheet on your computer, plug it into your Google Calendar. This is how you sell Cutco kitchens. Cutco kitchens can be sold all at once, but I've sold so many Cutco kitchens because people keep telling me what to follow up with next. I'll end this message with one of my favorite customers. One of my favorite customers is the Dye family, DYE. They're awesome. Amanda and Jacob, phenomenal people. I met them. They had a homemaker. So they had a homemaker. You guys ever run into anyone that owns Cutco already, has a homemaker, right? So I did the Cutco kitchen pitch with them, showed them everything we make. They were like, whoa, I didn't even know you guys made something called the Ultimate. I thought the homemaker was the biggest thing you make. Has anyone ever ran into that? Customers like, yeah, I already have everything Cutco makes, and they have like a galley set. Yeah, it's like, no, you don't. You have like one of our smaller sets. So showing everything, I showed them the Ultimate set. They upgraded to the Ultimate set for like 1,500 CPO. And then since I showed them the Cutco kitchen, I was like, Austin, I was like, Jacob, what do you want me to follow up with next? Now that we make all this stuff. And he was like, actually, yeah, the flatware and the accessories, we just want to get rid of all of our old stuff. Cool. When do you want me to follow up? Oh, once we're done with this 5-pay thing. So I guess in like 6 months, call me. Put a reminder in my phone for 6 months. Literally just put a reminder 6 months from now. And like, if it was January, I put it in July. Cool. I'll call you in July. Called him 6 months, bought the flatware, bought the accessories, 2,500 CPO. Once I was done with the credit card, I go, all right, Jacob, what do you want me to follow up with next? Now that you checked off those 2 boxes of your Cutco kitchen. He's like, oh, let's do the cookware next. All right, when do you want me to follow up? 6 months. Cool, 6 months, 4K order for CPO, 4K CPO for cookware or whatever it was, right? And then I was like, all right, we're almost done. What do you want me to follow up with next? He's like, yeah, I want to get that hunting package that you have. It's like $1,000. I was like, cool, when do you want me to follow up? 6 months. Cool, boom, 6 months. Another $1,000 order just from calling him, right? And then we're done. He's done, tapped out. Technically, he has everything that Cutco makes, but he's got kids. And it turns out his 18-year-old son's a better hunter than he is. So for a high school graduation present, I was like, hey, now that you're done buying Cutco for yourself and you guys pretty much have everything we make, do you want to start on the family program that we have for your kids? I remember you saying you had some kids. And he's like, yeah, let's just start doing the family program thing. And I'm like, cool, what do you want me to follow up with next? He goes, oh yeah, my son's a better hunter than me, so let's go with that hunting package. And then I want to engrave all the knives with his initials as a high school graduation present. I was like, all right, cool, boom. And by the way, I share this with you because Jacob and Amanda are not like these crazy wealthy people that live in San Diego. Like where you just look at a home and it's $2 million, right? Calling you guys out, you live in a really fantastic area. So they live in like the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. And their house is like 200 grand, average house. But yet they have like $20,000 worth of Cutco because they love it, right? And because we also teach the Cutco kitchen program and following up with people. So that's how you sell Cutco kitchens, right? So understanding what sales is, understanding the problem that you're solving, framing the Cutco kitchen, and then also just understanding that it's okay if they don't buy everything all at once, but you have to follow up with them. I've had so many customers that bought 2 or 3 knives from me just to try it out. And then I would follow up with them, and now they have the Ultimate set, right? So following up is key. And then if you're interested in coaching, you can text my number. So text coaching to 908-675-7645. I have like 30 people that I'm coaching from across the country individually. It's a paid coaching program. It's only for reps over $20,000 in sales. John, if there's anybody that you think would be a good candidate, you can let me know too. But it's awesome, limited spots. So, but super excited to be here. Thanks so much for having me, everybody. And look forward to coming back sometime soon.
All right, awesome. Give Rob some love right there. That was fantastic. So thank you
Can I get a
again, Rob.
screenshot too? Can I get like a thumbs up screenshot?
Oh yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Thank you.
Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you again, Rob, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak to my team here.
Sure.
For everybody that was on this call. I have this recorded. So here's what I would do. I know that was like a lot to get right there, but did anybody learn something like really spicy that you're like, I can't wait to implement? So I'm going to post this call into the team chat. And I would, if I was you, I would watch it one more time. Right. And then practice it a couple times, and then we can have a conversation about it on how you can implement it into your demos. But other than that, you guys have a great rest of the week. Enjoy your weekends, and let's keep crushing. All right. Let's keep dominating, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you again, Rob. That was great.